Hello, and welcome to Oceanography. This is your instructor, Sean, speaking, and I'm making this video just to give you a short overview of Canvas, how the course works, and look over our syllabus a bit. Okay, so first off the bat, I want to acknowledge that we were all expecting to meet in class face-to-face and have real conversations with real people. But instead, we're all kind of stuck at home, and we're all adjusting to this new online environment that we find ourselves in for our class. So I want to show you how the course works, hopefully make it a little easier for you. Essentially what happens is each week you have a module of activities, assignments, reading, stuff like that to complete, and then the next week you have another module. And so each week is a different topic. Very similar assignments in each: readings, lectures, homework, discussions, lab, and finally quiz, but on different content. So you'll see the first one is Introduction to Oceanography, Marine Geography, and then we'll move on to Plate Tectonics, and eventually Earth Materials, Coastlines. And that goes on for our 8 weeks that we're spending together. So if you're watching this video, you've made it this far, so feel free to browse around, see what you can see, but note that in order to gain access to this first week, you'll first have to take the course introduction and syllabus quiz, and once you score 9 out of 10 on that quiz, you get unlimited tries, you get access to this first week of material. So now you should be working your way, looking through these different things in our introduction. A great place to start is the syllabus. So once you click here, you will be seeing this. And this is basically the same introduction that I gave you a minute ago. Here's the course information, my information here. First thing to consider is the course materials. This is our textbook, Essentials of Oceanography, and it looks like this. It's available at the bookstore. You might be able to find it cheaper online, wherever you can get it. That's great. We will be starting with this textbook right away, so you want to grab this ASAP. Okay, software. Okay, so the main thing that you will need is word processing. Well, let me start over. If you have a printer, you have the option to print your assignments, fill them out by hand, and then re-upload those to Canvas to submit them. If you do not have a printer, you will want to use word processing software along with graphics editing software to complete the homeworks in labs. So you'll download the labs, edit the document, mark it up, and then re-upload it. Now you have access to Microsoft software through your email. In the top left corner, you'll see that you have access to things like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and you can complete the assignments and then re-upload them. And if you need more information about that, it's all available here. You also need to use Google Earth, the web-based or desktop version, and we'll get more into that when we reach that point in the labs. Okay, let's talk about communication. Since we are not meeting in class, we are going to have to rely on our electronic versions of communication. So the best way to reach out to me is through Canvas email. This is better than my Clark email because I get a lot of email in my Clark email, and I don't want your email to get lost in the shuffle. So best way to reach out to me is through Canvas. I also have a discussion board set up in the orientation module, and if you click here, you have access to ask a question, and someone else in the course might have the same question. So I check this regularly. I get alerts on this, so feel free to use it. Third mode of communication is through Zoom online video chat. So I will be available Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And note that this is when our class was scheduled to be held. And note that this isn't a lecture that you need to show up for. I'm not going to be introducing material. These are optional meetings, but this is just another way that you can get questions answered or get help with homework and stuff like that. So I will have the link set up for our weekly or twice a week video chats. And what a lot of people will do is they'll start the lab. They might have some questions, and then they will briefly log in during that time to ask the question, because sometimes that's a little bit easier than typing out a long email, waiting for a response, and then having a follow-up question. So feel free to drop in. And you can also, I've been doing this at Portland Community College, my oceanography class there, and a lot of students will just drop in, listen to other questions. No need to participate. It's just another option for you. Okay, announcements. Once the course begins, I won't be sending out emails to the whole class. Instead, I will be using the announcements tool. And once I make my first announcement, it'll show up right here. And please set up your Canvas to give you alerts, whether it be text or email, when I make an announcement. I try to make announcements sparingly, so if there is an announcement, it's probably going to be something important. Okay. Let's look over the assignments that we're having. This is an overview. It gives you the assignments that we'll be completing, the points, when they're due. Now, if you look at this and it looks a little overwhelming, note that a lot of students, once they get into like the weekly flow of things, they find that it is pretty manageable. Note that pretty much everything is due on Tuesdays and Thursdays, quizzes due on Sundays. However, because we're all adjusting to this online environment, what I'll do is I am going to allow you to turn in any of these assignments up until Sunday at midnight without penalty. So if you're feeling a little bit behind or you're having a busy week, if you need a little extra time, you can turn it in before Sunday. Okay, let's look at these in a little more detail. Your homeworks, these are going to be a series of 10 to 15 questions that are designed for you to complete while you are watching the lecture videos and doing the reading. Speaking of reading and lecture videos, let's go back to Canvas. And this is where you're going to find your weekly reading and lecture videos. So you have your reading here. Week 1 is chapter 1. Makes sense. And then you have your 3 lecture videos. Once you click through on these, the first thing that you're going to notice is that the person speaking is not me. These are videos that my colleague Gretchen made, and they follow our course very well, so I decided to use these instead of starting from scratch. I think she did a great job on them. Hopefully you enjoy them too. Okay, so have your homework out while you are completing that reading and watching the lectures. This is another thing that you either download, print, take pictures of, and then upload, or you download and edit the document and then submit. And so let's look at how we do that. Here is our homework 1. Here is the file itself. And then when you're done, whether it's by hand or electronic, you submit it using this button and you upload that file. Okay, discussion activities. These are meant to simulate our in-class discussions, and each week I will be giving you a prompt along with some questions to answer. So with our week 1, we have just, hey, who are you? And what are you doing at Clark? Kind of stuff, that usual introduction. And then we have some questions. You'll watch this video, and then there's some questions about the scientific method. Now, these are meant to get you thinking. Doesn't necessarily mean that if you will have the perfect correct answer right away. Once you answer these questions in to the prompt, then you will also be making replies to some of your classmates. And so these have to be substantive replies, meaning things like, hey, great post, or I totally agree. You need more content than that. You want to be either asking a thoughtful question, or the best thing to do is introduce new class material. So by the time you get to the replies, you're probably pretty familiar with the reading and lecture. So try to introduce some of that into the discussion. Initial posts are due on Tuesday and replies due on Thursday. Okay, so a big chunk of your grade is going to be on the labs. And this is one thing that is a little more challenging for us as instructors to put together for an online course, because we have a lot of fun activities with chemistry and stuff like that. But we still have some good labs for you. Let's go back up, and I just want to point out that 240 points come from your weekly labs. So you really want to focus on these and make sure you're doing a good job. A lot of this is going to be analyzing data, maps, stuff like that, but then there's going to be a little bit of kitchen chemistry using some common items that you have around the house. This is another one that you download, complete by print and complete by hand, or you download and then edit and resubmit. Okay, quizzes. This is the last thing that you will want to complete each week. It's due on Sundays. And basically, you will click on your weekly quiz. You will be given, and this is my results for the one I did not answer. You will be given a set of 10 questions chosen at random, and you'll have 20 minutes to answer those. So make sure you're familiar with the material before you go into these quizzes. And it's open book, open resource, so feel free to use those. Note that you have one attempt on those quizzes and 20 minutes for your 10 questions. Let's see, course presentation. There is going to be more information on this setup in Canvas, but for now, what you want to be doing is thinking of an ocean issue that you want to look into with more depth. And this is something we are going to adapt for the online format. You're going to be putting together a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation, quote unquote, but then you're going to submit a transcript of what you would be saying if we were actually presenting in class. More information about this will be posted soon. Okay, final exam. This is going to be a combination of a multiple choice quiz, open book, and a large diagram that you'll be labeling a bunch of things that you've learned, and then some short answer essays. And this will be during our week 9 finals week. And there'll be more information on that when we get to it. Okay. If you scroll to the bottom of your syllabus, you will see the schedule. And so we have our 8 weeks of material. You can look that over there. You have your due dates all posted out here. And then our finals week. So if you have a printer, this is a good thing to keep handy to keep you on track. Okay. All right, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, so I'll mention it again. To start off, you're going to want to start working through the course information. And then you have your first quiz. It's a syllabus quiz due on Tuesday. And you'll have to complete this quiz and score a 9 out of 10 to get access to your first week's material. Don't worry, it's an easy quiz, and you get unlimited attempts, unlike your other quizzes. All right, I'd like to conclude just by saying if you have any questions, concerns, confused about anything, feel free to reach out. I really want you to do well in this course, even though we're adjusting to the new format. So please, don't hesitate to reach out for help.